Hey, join me on a walk. It's going to be a longer video, so bear with me. But I'm going to share some things with you guys that I don't normally share. Uh, so I was talking with one of my buddies that I served with. And if you're not aware, I don't really like talking about what I do, but I am in the military. I am an active duty service member. And one of the guys that I served with back at the first duty station, uh, we were talking the other day, and he's since been out for probably about, I think, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years now. But he finished college and he was looking to trying to, become a teacher and do all of that stuff that he had to do for it. And, uh, you know, now he's doing some guidance counselor stuff. And, we were talking about the military and, uh, he was sharing some things with me. And I was like, yeah, but I wouldn't really be pushing kids to join the military this day and age. But he was like, well, a lot of them aren't in good spots and they need it. And I was like, it got me really thinking, because I was like, yeah, that's true. I definitely needed the structure. I was in college. I always intended to join the military when I was a kid, but I was in college and in ROTC and everything, and then decided to enlist. And it's always been kind of something that people have been like, well, why did you do that? And that's a personal thing, right? But let's backtrack on that. Your boy here was not the most focused person in college. You can ask anybody that I went to college with that knew me then. Wasn't very focused. Now, your boy here is even looking at PhD programs. Am I going to pursue that? I don't know. My master's degree just about broke me, but I find education and learning fun. That's kind of like my hobby. See, master's program broke me. Because who in their right mind says that school is a hobby? Okay, anyways, let's get serious again. So, yeah, every time I talk to my parents, my mom, oh, well, when are you going to start your PhD program? And yeah, the Army's not going to pay for a PhD program anymore. They stop at the master's level. So I just kind of got to look at things that I can do. But I digress. Now you can clearly tell I am a focused person, right? Wasn't focused when I was younger. Now I am. Look at that. And so if you were to ask me, do I enjoy being in the military? I'm going to give you an honest answer. Honestly, it's not that bad. Like, it really isn't. The military is a sham. And if I get in trouble for saying this, then it's because people don't like the truth. But the military is easy. It's honestly really easy. The old saying, or at least what I was always taught coming up in the military, is as long as you are in the right place at the right time in the right uniform, you'll be okay. Right? And that still stands true. I am at the higher echelons of the enlisted ranks now because, again, I dropped out of college, but I finished up my schooling through the military, right? So I'm at the higher echelons of the military ranks now. And I still just live my military life by those rules, right? WASP. Right place, right time, right uniform. That's the basics. And that's all the military is, if you talk to anybody who is in special forces, Ranger Battalion, like any of those things, the thing that they will tell you, what sets them apart from everybody, is they focus on the basics all the time. They practice the basics because you can't be a master of something unless you practice the basics. So if you ask me if I enjoy the military, I'm going to say, yeah, it's not been bad. But again, double-edged sword, right? It also sucks. Like, I'm not going to lie, it sucks. And I think everybody's reasoning for saying that it sucks is different. It's all personal, right? It's their opinion. For me, what I will tell you, the reason why I don't like being in the military anymore and why I'm so looking forward to retirement here in a couple of years is because I'm bored. It's honestly it. I'm bored. I am ready to move on and do other things. I am ready to move on and, as I like to call it, get a big boy job, right? Military is not bad, but I am overqualified, technically speaking. I don't feel like I am, but technically speaking, I am overqualified. I hold a master's degree, and that right there puts me as overqualified compared to most of the company commanders that I will serve with, right? I also have a graduate certificate. I'm working on another graduate certificate. Again, overqualified people, right? So to me, it's like, what am I doing here? I'm very bored, and you literally cannot pay me for my level of education. I mean, that's a fact. I can't because I'm on a set pay scale. So, the military literally cannot pay me more. And so it's kind of like, what am I doing here? I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs with some things. Uh, but again, that is why I don't like being in the military. Now, people will say, well, why don't you drop a warrant packet? Or why don't you go to OCS? Those thoughts have crossed my mind. And I actually did try to go into Coast Guard OCS for a direct commission, but that didn't work out because they weren't taking applicants who have a hearing profile. And your boy here spent 2.5 years on a gun team. So I like to wear these bad boys right here, sticking out of my ears. If you don't see those hearing aids. Yeah. So that didn't work. And I didn't want to be an Army officer. So, that is what it is. And I don't want to be a warrant officer because I don't really enjoy the field that I'm in. So why trap myself in it even longer? I reclassed from the infantry into a certain field, and I like the field as a whole. My MOS, not so much. But it is what it is, I do my job, I do it well, and the people that I work for like me and think I do a good job. So I guess I'm doing something right. That being said, again, that is why I don't like being in the military. I wouldn't let my son join the military, and don't want him to join the military, but that has to do with my feelings towards the military. But I think if people aren't focused, or if they don't have a good plan as to what they want to do in life, one contract can be the difference that makes or breaks you financially speaking. Actually, studies do show that people who retire from the military tend to actually wind up being upper middle class, regardless of what rank they were, officer or enlisted. Studies also do show that veterans, those who are not retirees, right, people who did a contract or two, tend to perform better when it comes to civilian line of work. That's why companies, Fortune 500 companies, have modeled themselves after military structure. That's also why they want to prefer to hire veterans, because it does provide you with a sense of focus, right? And a purpose and, a routine. The military is good at that. And I think for that reason, if I start noticing that my son is not the most focused individual, shoot, I might just be like, hey man, don't go active duty, go to reserves or guard at least, but again, I also don't plan on living in the country. So, I don't think that he'll wind up joining the American military, to say the least. That being said, for those out there that are curious about joining the military, don't rule it out. It's not the sexiest of jobs. It's not the most glamorous of jobs. Doesn't pay the highest either, but it will give you a sense of focus. And if you need focus, then there you go. So, take that with a grain of salt. Also, I own my own house. I finished my bachelor's. I finished a master's, as I mentioned, a graduate level certificate, undergraduate certificate, and other certificates. Like I'm getting offers to go to take Cornell's PMP program, their certificate program, all through and all on the military's dime. So if that doesn't kind of spur into your head what it can do for you, and there you go. Now you have something. Because again, not the sexiest, but I've gotten all these things through being in the military. So on that note, have a good day.